Hi dear friends and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. This is your host Ram welcoming you to a sensational day of cricket happenings today, which happened at the Zahoor Ahmed Chowdhury Stadium here in Chittagong, where two sensational matches happened. One was the first match, which was played between England and Netherlands, and well, one would have probably be harking back to the year 2009 T20 World Cup when Netherlands upset the apple cart of England. But today, and that was a very, very close game. Remember, it went on to the wire, it went on to the final ball. But what Netherlands did today was something absolutely amazing, because they rolled out England for just 88 runs to win this match by a very big margin according to Netherlands standards, by 45 runs. You know, Netherlands gave a scare to South Africa with South Africa just winning by 6 runs the other day, and Netherlands went one up here by winning the match. And what a way to finish for Netherlands as far as the T20 World Cup is concerned. They are going off on a high here by scalping England once again. England were defeated in the 2009 T20 World Cup. In the 2014 T20 World Cup, England have once again taken Netherlands have once again taken the scalp of England, and Netherlands won the match by 45 runs. What a match! I mean, if you look at the score, Netherlands made 133 batting first, and England were bowled out for just 88 runs. So that was a pathetic batting effort from the English batsmen, I thought. And well, I can only say that was the first match which happened. But the second match that was going to happen was between New Zealand and Sri Lanka, and it was pretty crucial match, because that was the one which was going to decide who would be going, that whichever team wins was going into the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup from this particular group. And yes, it has been decided with a match which was absolutely as sensational as it happened between England and Netherlands here. And Sri Lanka were restricted by New Zealand to 119 runs of their they were all out for in 19.2 overs on a very slow pitch. And after that, the New Zealand batsmen totally succumbed to one bowler who was the man of the match. And look at his bowling figures. In fact, Sri Lanka are the ones who have actually gone into the semi-finals now by winning this match. After defending a score of 119, they rolled out this New Zealand team for just 60 runs, with 42 runs coming from the bat of Kane Williamson, who was run out. And if you look at the other numbers, you could make one or two phone numbers there, because there's none of the other batsmen who actually went into double figures. And this route was really done by one bowler, I thought, and that was Rangana Herath, whom I was really surprised that Ajanta Mendes, who bowled well in the T20 World Cup, was left out, and Rangana Herath. But Rangana Herath definitely proved a point here by bowling 3.3 overs, 2 maidens, 3 runs, and 5 wickets. You could only dream about the bowling analysis like this, and that was Rangana Herath did. And as I said, Rangana Herath was the man of the match. So as I said, two sensational matches happening. So what I'm going to start now, I'm going to start off with the match between Netherlands and England first. Now, it all happened at the Zahoor Ahmed Chowdhury Stadium. This was the first match which was played, in fact, it was England who actually won the toss, and they decided to insert Netherlands into bat. But for Netherlands, the start was not good. They lost. They definitely had a start which was pretty aggressive, because Steven Myburgh was at the crease along with Swart, and they started getting runs. Moeen Ali was taken for 13 runs of the very first over he bowled. After that, Tim Rusnan was a bit economical, and Moeen Ali was the one who was really carted. And well, the first, the openers realized 34 runs for the first wicket in 3.5 overs before Broad actually picked up the wicket of Swart for 13 for 15 balls with 2 fours. Steven Myburgh contributed 39 runs of 31 balls with 6 fours and 1 6. So once again showing what an aggressive bloke he is, and playing some very nice strokes. And Baresi, well, he tried to hold the innings after the dismissal of Steven Myburgh, And that was a good start. Actually, Netherlands at the time when Stefan Myburgh departed, they had 84 on the board, so that was a very good clip, almost touching 8 runs, because 11.1 overs had gone, and Myburgh was dismissed on the bowling of Bopara for 39 with 6 fours and 1 6. And after that, Wesley Baresi was trying to hold the innings together, but unfortunately, this time Tom Cooper couldn't do much. He was gone for 8 of 15 balls to Broad, and Broad also picked up the wicket of Peter Boren, the Netherlands captain, for 7. And finally, it was left to Wesley Baresi to be the last man out. And Wesley Baresi, with his knock of 48 of 45 balls with 2 fours and 2 sixes, took Netherlands to a score which could be defended of 133 for 5 wickets, with Mudassar Bukhari not out on 1, Cooper not out not. Looking at the bowling card as far as the English bowling was concerned, Moeen Ali bowled only 1 over, went away for 13 runs. Bresnan bowled 2 overs for 11. And Jordan also was pretty tight, 3 overs no made and 1 for 13. Broad was the most successful, 4 overs no made and 24 runs and 3 wickets. And then Treadwell, 4 overs for 23. Paddy bowling 2 overs, which was pretty costly, went for 23 runs. And Bopara was a real, I would say, a surprise packet there, in the sense he bowled very, very economically and picked up 1 wicket. Now let's look at this England innings. What happened to the England innings? Well, England started off, and England would have definitely thought that, this is not the time that Netherlands are going to recreate the 2009. But yes, they definitely recreated the 2009, but not taking it down to the wire, but winning it in a much, much convincing manner. It all started with Alex Hales on lump at the crease, and the problem started for England right away. It was the first wicket to go. Mudassar Bukhari, as you know, I was also been wondering, he has been passing through a sort of a situation in this T20 World Cup. Normally, Mudassar Bukhari is the one who actually gets the wickets for Netherlands, but Mudassar Bukhari has been pretty much lacking. He has not been amongst the wickets. He has been bowling, but the wickets have been lacking for him. He has not been getting any wickets, and here he comes, and he was the one who started it all by first picking up the wicket of Michael Lumb, who was caught by Cooper of the bowling of Bukhari for 6 of 8 balls. And then Alex Hales followed him to the pavilion, trying to play a stroke which was a bit aggressive in intent, but he was castled by Mudassar Bukhari for 12 of 17 balls with 2 fours, which made the score 19 for 2 at that stage. Ian Morgan and Moeen Ali were at the crease, and they pushed the score along to 26. Before Morgan Vander Gupten came in, and in fact Mudassar Bukhari took a wicket of Lumb in the 3rd over, in the final ball of the 3rd over, and then he was on a hat-trick because he took the wicket of Alex Hales in the 5th over, and so he was on a hat-trick, but unfortunately couldn't get the hat-trick. Ian Morgan and Ian Morgan, the main wicket was Ian Morgan, because he is someone who is a pretty dangerous player, but Ian Morgan was sent back to the pavilion by Vander Gupten, as Morgan was gone for 6 of 8 balls with 1 4. And Butler, well, as I said, none of the England batsmen could really stay at the wicket. Butler was gone, trying a reverse paddle, I suppose. He was caught by Seelar of the bowling of Van Beek for 6. Ravi Bopara was a victim of Ravi Bopara was the one who actually stood there for quite some time, but definitely not getting any support. He contributed 18 of 20 balls, and then it was really getting it more and more difficult with the the Netherlands bowlers bowling absolutely a perfect line and length, keeping the ball up to the batsman, and getting the ball to do all sorts of things. Also, one thought that the England fielding effort was not good. The batting left a lot to be desired, and this was not a performance that one would have expected from England, especially considering that this was their last fixture before they leave from this T20 World Cup. Well, Ravi Bopara 18, Bresnan was out for 5, he was run out for 5. Jordan made 14 of as many balls. Broad was out for 4. Treadwell remained not out on 8. And Paddy, and it was I would say it was a total demolition of England for just 88 runs, and it was a real sad commentary as far as the England innings were concerned. Let's look at the bowling. Swart had 1 over bowled, he gave away 8 runs. Vander Gupten bowled with good pace, 3 overs no made and 1 for 11. Mudassar Bukhari as I said, was the man of the moment, and he was the man of the match. Why not? He took 3 wickets. First, he dismissed the openers Alex Hales and Lum, and then came on to. He also ran out Tim Bresnan, and then he picked up the very important wicket of Stuart Broad, the English captain. So Mudassir Bukhari, 3.4 overs, no maiden, 12 runs and 3 wickets. And Jamil, the spinner who did all the damage against South Africa, 3 overs, no maiden, none for 14. Boren bowled 3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 18. Van Beek also bowled 2 overs, no maiden, 9 runs and 3 wickets. And Peter Sillar bowling 2 overs for 14. But as I said, now for England, it has really become, Netherlands has become a sort of a real thorn, because in 2009 T20 World Cup they won the match. Now here again, even though it didn't have much consequence, as both the teams are out of the T20 World Cup, but definitely as far as performance is concerned, as far as reputations go, I think England have tarnished their reputation today by losing against Netherlands team. And Netherlands seem to be doing very well, and it's a real shame as Netherlands, as you know, is not having the status now. The other countries have got the status for this. So Netherlands wouldn't be playing any Intercontinental Cup matches, unfortunately, as you know. So, but well, congratulations to Netherlands for finishing off this World Cup, T20 World Cup on a high, and one looks for more better things to come from Netherlands. I think they have still one fixture, if I'm not wrong. I'm trying to look at my bag here to see, but well, probably they have one more fixture to go, if I'm not wrong. Well, that will be seen later. So that is as far as England were concerned. So England losing the match by 45 runs, and Netherlands really finishing off on a very nice high here in the T20 World Cup. Now let's look at the other match. Now this was a match which was very important under the circumstances, and any team that wins would have gone into the would be going into the semi-finals. And Sri Lanka and New Zealand clashed here in the second match here at the Chittagong Stadium, at the Zahur Ahmed Chowdhury Stadium. New Zealand were the ones who actually won the toss, and I thought it was a very good toss to win for New Zealand. And Brendan McCullum decided that he would insert the Sri Lankans in. For Sri Lanka, it all started with not a good start. In fact, Sri Lanka never found their way in this particular innings. In fact, New Zealand bowlers kept a very probing line and length. In fact, what one saw is that the New Zealand bowlers were doing, they were hitting the deck hard, they were getting the ball to move. There were a lot of back-off length deliveries which actually fetched wickets for them. So it was a slow pitch, and you know, they're having such an intelligent captain like Brendan McCullum. Brendan McCullum had a game plan for the Sri Lankans, and one was also a bit surprised, as I said, that Sri Lanka left out Ajanta Mendes and brought in Ranganathan. But I would say, I mean, he turned into gold. In fact, Ranganathan, the left-arm spinner, turned everything into gold for Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka were the ones who batted first, and as I said, the first wicket to go was Trent Boult who started everything. Trent Boult was the one who started it all first getting the wicket of the dashing Kushal Perera, who made 16 runs pretty quickly of 8 balls with 2 fours and 1 6, but he was caught down the leg side by Luke Cronchi, the wicketkeeper, for 16. So that was the first wicket to go. So that made it 20 for 1 in the second over. The next to go was Tilakatne Dilshan, who was trying to play the Dil scoop of the bowling of Boult, but only managed to actually get it high up in the air, and Luke Cronchi behind the stumps took the catch. He was gone for 8 of 11 balls with 1 4, Sri Lanka 29 for 2, and Sangakkara trying to play a stroke, an airy stroke through the offside, hold out to Anderson of the bowling of Boult for 4, and as I said, Boult was the man who reduced Sri Lanka to 35 for 3 in the 6th over. And then Mahela Jayawardene was at the crease along with Tirimane, and slowly things started proceeding for Sri Lanka, in the sense they slowly started, I would say, they slowly started repairing the damage and slowly tried to settle things for Sri Lanka. But it could go only as much as the score of 65 was concerned, because at that time Tirimane was a victim of the bowling of Jimmy Neesham, as Tirimane was gone caught by Guptill of the bowling of Neesham for 20 of 18 balls with 3 fours, which made it 65 for 4. And then it was too difficult with Jayawardene at the crease. Angelo Matthews could contribute only 6, as Mitchell McClenaghan had a ball which he actually got the ball to actually go away from Angelo Matthews. Angelo Matthews was sucked into it, caught behind the ball of McClenaghan for 6. So that was half the team of Sri Lanka into the pavilion at 81 for 5 in the 14th over. So as I said, and suddenly when after Matthews went, Mahela Jayawardene, who would have been probably the key as far as Sri Lanka was concerned to get to a good score, also disappointed, as after contributing 25 runs, he couldn't actually read a ball from Nathan McCullum. He tried to sweep the delivery and he lost his stumps. So he was gone for 25, 32 balls, 2 fours, and he was the highest scorer in a Sri Lankan innings of 119 all out. After that, Tisra Pereira had some hits. In fact, due to Tisra Pereira hitting 16 of 13 balls with 3 fours, becoming a victim of Mills, and Senanaike contributing 17 of 11 balls with 1 4 and 1 6, Sri Lanka managed to reach a score of 119. So he was gone, and finally the Sri Lankan innings was wound up for 119 with Kyle Mills returning figures. Kyle Mills returning figures of 1 for 30, but Trent Bolt, who did the early damage, 4 overs no maiden, 3 wickets for 20 runs for him. Corey Anderson, 3 overs no maiden, none for 30. Now Corey Anderson, I would like to say something here. He actually tipped the ball over the bar for a 6 when the Sri Lankans were batting, and he probably dislocated a finger, and it was very, very sad to see that Corey Anderson could not take any further part in the game, and I'm told he has a fracture and he couldn't actually bat, and that would have been something, because Corey Anderson can actually change the game in a flash, because he holds the record for the fastest century, as you know. So basically could have actually changed the game, but well, ifs are ifs and buts are buts. Anderson couldn't take any further part in the game, unfortunately. McClanahan also bowled well, 4 overs no maiden, 224. Neesham 2.2 overs, no maiden, 22 runs and 3 wickets. Nathan McClellan 2 overs no maiden, 1 for 8. Now 119, probably definitely New Zealand would have thought that they have done their job, and now it's only for the batsmen to really come in. Well, it all started with, as you know, today it was a new captain for Sri Lanka. Dinesh Chandimal has been kept out of this game because of the ban due to the poor over rate, and here comes Lasith Malinga getting his first game as captain. He's captaining Sri Lanka for the first time, and today, what a moment for Lasith Malinga. On his first game as the captain of the Sri Lankan team, this Sri Lankan team, even after putting not a good performance as far as the batting is concerned, they come up trumps here by getting Sri Lanka marching into the semi-finals. So that is a tremendous feeling for Lasith Malinga, the Sri Lankan captain. Now it all started with just talking about the precision as far as New Zealand were concerned. It all started with Martin Guptill very needlessly run out. In fact, it all started with this particular delivery. In fact, Lasith Malinga decided that he won't be the person who would be taking the red cherry. He gave the red cherry to Nuwan Kulashekara, who was bowling well. Angelo Matthews was bowling the second over, and New Zealand had 18 on the board at that time in the 4th over. And Martin Guptill pushing a ball and absolutely headless running, I thought, because you are the person who is striking, but probably even if I thought Kane Williamson would have taken a start, it was a poor judgment of a run, I thought, as far as Martin Guptill is concerned, and he was gone. That was the first wicket, run out for 5, so that made it 18 for 1 as far as New Zealand were concerned. After that, Brendan McCullum came in. Rangana Herath was pressed into action at that particular time, and this is what happened. Suddenly things started going, all the things started going Sri Lankan way, as Rangana Herath, the left-arm spinner, got a ball. I mean, the previous delivery that Rangana Herath, the left-arm spinner, bowled, and Lasith Malinga decided still not to actually bring him on, and he brought Rangana Herath, the left-arm spinner, into the attack. One was thinking whether that was the good move, but it was a master move, according to me, by the Lasith Malinga, the Sri Lankan captain, because what Rangana Herath did is that there was a ball that he bowled to Brendan McCullum, and Brendan McCullum was actually, there was a loud LBW appeal, and probably Rangana Herath sensing that Brendan McCullum will try to attack him now, what he did is very smartly slipped the ball, pitching it outside the off stump and getting it to turn away. Brendan McCullum was absolutely stranded outside the crease. It was a very, very easy stumping for the wicketkeeper Kumar Sangakkara, who took off the pace, and Brendan McCullum was walking for a duck, and that made the score 18 for 2, and so it made it 18 for 2. After that, it was Rangana Herath who had actually bowled a maiden over at that particular stage. and suddenly Ross Taylor came in and joined Kane Williamson at the other end, and Rangana Herath got a ball which turned into Ross Taylor. Ross Taylor missed it, and he was walking back to the pavilion. LBW bowled Herath for a duck of 5 balls. New Zealand 23 for 3 in the 6th over. Jimmy Neesham was the other person who came in and joined Williamson, and Jimmy Neesham was also a victim, as Jimmy Neesham was clean bowled by Herath. In fact, he missed the line of the ball. The ball went in between. The ball turned in between the bat and the pad gap and went on to crash into the stumps. Neesham was gone for a duck. That made the score 23 for 4 in the 7th over. So things were really tumbling for New Zealand at that stage. And then, but the only good thing was that Kane Williamson was still there at the crease, and hope was there for New Zealand, as Luke Ronchi came in and joined Kane Williamson. At that particular time, Rangana Herath had absolutely tremendous bowling figures. He had not conceded a run. He had 3 wickets in his bag. Tremendous bowling. So Rangana Herath came in, and once again Rangana Herath was into the mix here. He picked up the wicket of Luke Ronchi here by getting him LBW for 2. So that made it 29 for 5. And then Nathan McCallum playing a very loose stroke to a ball which was held back by Sachitra Sen and Naike. He was gone, caught by Matthews for 2. That made it 33 for 6. Kane Williamson, well, he was the one who was staying there, playing strokes as and when any opportunities were there. Kyle Mills came in, so there was still some hope for them, because Kyle Mills definitely has some reputation as being a good batsman. But well, they tried to Kane Williamson and Kyle Mills took the score onto the. Kyle Mills was there. They took the score onto the 14th over before Mills was victim. LBW bowled Senanaike for 4, and then Rangana Herath once again came in, and there was a combination of Matthews and Herath. Kane Williamson was the sole hope for them, but Kane Williamson was also sent packing, as he was the highest scorer and he was the only person who returned double figures as far as this innings of 60 was concerned, with Williamson contributing 42 runs of 43 balls with 6 fours in a New Zealand score of 60 all out. Trent Boult was a victim. That was the 5th wicket for Rangana Herath for 3, and as I said, CJ Anderson could not bat because of the fractured finger. Mitchell McGann, that was something pretty sad, because I said, but again, ifs are ifs and buts are buts. One does not know what could have happened. He could either have, he could have either have slammed some sixes and probably changed the game in a flash, or probably he might have lost his wicket to Rangana Herath. One does not know. But all in all, New Zealand putting up, and New Zealand definitely losing a great opportunity here to get into the semi-finals. And Sri Lanka, one has to really doff the hat to Sri Lanka for defending such a score, a paltry score of 119, a low score of 119, and rolling out the Kiwis for just 60 runs. Tremendous bowling spell for Rangana Herath, who bowled 3.3 overs, 2 maidens, 3 runs and 5 wickets. Can you think about a dream analysis like this? I have never seen a bowling analysis like this. 3.3 overs, 2 maidens, 3 runs and 5 wickets in his bag for 3 runs. And he got the man of the match award. Kulashekara 3 overs for 15. Angelo Matthews 4 overs, no maiden, none for 26. Lasit Malinga bowled 2 overs, which cost him 13 runs. Senanaike bowled 3 overs, no maiden, 3 runs and 2 wickets. Well, it has been a long YouTube broadcast, dear fans and subscribers. We have 2 more matches coming in. Tomorrow, as you know, is going to be another quarter-final match, which is going to be played good as a quarter-final, I would say, because Pakistan are taking on West Indies, and this is a similar situation as to what happened between New Zealand and Sri Lanka, where whichever team wins will march into the semi-finals to join India. So now one thing is confirmed after this match, that India would be taking on South Africa in the semi-finals on Friday, the 4th of April. Dear fans and subscribers, on this sensational day of cricket happenings, where Netherlands upset the apple cart of England, and Sri Lanka really making a great comeback into this particular match by actually rolling out the Kiwis for 60 by defending a score of 119 and getting on to the semi-finals. And that wraps up my Cricket Happening show for today, dear fans and subscribers. I'll be seeing you tomorrow with the next 2 match reports. Until then, it's a big goodbye on this day of Cricket Happenings. Thank you.